And it's your average hockey fan here again, and today I'd like to discuss a topic I've been thinking about for a while. And today I went through all the names and all the stats and everyone who I looked at and everyone I've been following over the years and following recently. And today I'd like to talk about my personal NHL dream team, the team I think that would be unbeatable if you could pick all the players, all the left wingers, all the right wingers, all the centers, all the defensemen, all the goalies, pick pick four left wingers, four right wingers, four centers, six defensemen, and two goalies to work out the ultimate dream team, not of any particular nationality, not an Olympic team, nothing like that. This is my personal NHL all-world team, the dream team. If you could put them together, they would be unbeatable. They would be the sickest team on earth. And this is how I see them going. I'm going to start with my forward lines, and I'm going to work my way down my D. And I'm going to work the way to the goalies, and I'm going to explain a couple of reasons why I think these players, some of them will be obvious, some of them people will disagree with. And I went from position to position. I didn't take centers and slot them in as left wings or right wings, or take a right wing that could possibly play center. I went people that are currently centers, people that are wingers now, people that are D-men now, with the positions that they're in. I picked the best of the best, in my opinion, and put them in the order I thought that they should go and who would play the best together. Some of the best players may not be on that top line because I think they'd play better with other players on a different line, but you can agree, you can disagree. Feel free to leave like or comment after the video. My top line is Mark Stone, Connor McDavid, and Alexander Ovechkin. And the reason for that being my top line is we got a great, gritty player who can take the puck away, who can play two ways, who can open up his zone for the other two guys, and who can also bring an offensive upside and make a lot of assists. We got a really good player with great hands who can set up either one of the guys, Stone or Ovechkin, and create offensive stuff and score goals. And we'll be getting fed the puck from Stone because he's great at taking the stick off other players' pucks and feeding it over to other players. And we got Alexander Ovechkin over there, who at any time you can pass the puck over to and snipe it top corner. He's one of the best in the league at his position, and is a great power play guy too. I didn't do out my power play lines for this team, but you could probably tell by the players who would be who and which in the power play, and Ovechkin would definitely be on my top power play line for sure because he's one of the best power play snipers in the league, if not the best. Him and Stamkos stick out a lot to me as the guys who, if you pass it over to them with blasting it past you at least like 20-30% of the time on the power play. My second line is a player who's currently been bringing it on the past 2 years, who hasn't been around in the league for a long time, but his time in the league has been dominant. Should have been a Hart Trophy finalist last year, possibly had a good enough argument to win the whole thing. The first guy is Nikita Kucherov, and the second guy playing center is John Tavares, and my other guy is Brad Marchand. So my right wing is Nikita Kucherov, my center is John Tavares, and my left wing is Brad Marchand. And a lot of people would say, why would you have Brad Marchand on your second line? You're a Habs fan. Like, how could you possibly? Well, I hate Brad Marchand. I think he's a weasel. I think he's a piece of shit as a person. But as a hockey player, he's a great hockey player. He's gritty. He can check. He's not scared to get in other teams' faces. He can shoot the puck just as good as anybody in the league. He can set up plays. He's always had consistent, good point totals. He's always kept pace with his career totals. He's a good playoff player, and he's the type of guy, no matter how much you hate him outside the league, you'd want him on your team, and you'd want him to play on your top lines for sure. Any team he's on, he's a top line player, no matter what team he's on, unless it's like Tampa or San Jose or something like that. But, yeah, my second line is, my second line, like I said, is Nikita Kucherov, Tavares, and Marchand. And Tavares I got as my center because right now he's tearing it up. He's been a consistently good center. The guys I got as my third line center, a lot of people would say you should have him as your second line center, if not your top line center. But right now, currently, if I had to pick a dream team, all the players that are playing currently, Tavares is better than this guy. Tavares is one of, if not the best center in the league right now, in my opinion. Him and McDavid, toe and toe for the best center. Obviously, McDavid has a step up on Tavares, but you look at Tavares' totals and what he's doing in Toronto, he's having one hell of a year. He's always been great. He's been great on all the international teams. He was New York Islanders' best player, and right now he's pretty much Toronto's best player. It's either him or Marner. Maybe Morgan Riley, but it's either him or Marner for the best forwards, in my opinion. My third line is another Boston guy. I know Habs fans will be like, how you got all these Boston guys on your team? Well, I guess my defense and my goalies, I'll make up for it. But David Pastrnak, great shooter, sniper. Sidney Crosby, great two-way player, like kind of like Mark Stone in the way he can take the puck off pretty much anybody's stick. He can open up the ice for other players. He can set up great plays, and he can also snipe himself. Great offensive totals. Over the years, he has regressed a little bit. He isn't the elite Crosby we remember, but he has his moments, and in the playoffs, there's nobody I'd rather put my money on other than Crosby. So he definitely 100% deserves to be on his team, if not higher up on the team. So my right wing is Dave Pastrnak, Sidney Crosby's my center, and Taylor Hall, reigning MVP, had to give him the third line position because he hasn't played so much in New Jersey this year. He's been injured, but he still tops amongst their point totals. He's still got great point totals. Last year he was sick. Ever since he left Edmonton and had a new look, he's been a completely different player. He's been amazing to watch. He had a 16, 17-point streak last year. I'm not a New Jersey fan, but I'll watch New Jersey games just to see Hall play when he's playing because he sticks out so much and he's such an entertaining player. And he's a really gritty player, too, when he wants to be. He's not scared to go to the spots he needs to. He can fight for the puck. But mainly, he's a really, really good offensive goal scorer. Like, you need somebody to step up, score a goal. Hall's your guy. And then we got Pastrnak over there sniping. He's another good guy who'd be good on the power play. And we got Crosby to set them both up. We got Crosby to win all the face-off. Crosby's a big face-off man. You can almost always depend on Crosby for the face-off man. I was thinking about putting Patrice Bergeron on his team, but I just couldn't. I couldn't load it up with too many Boston players. And Patrice Bergeron is a bit older, but he's definitely proven and he's still good. But I couldn't put Bergeron on his team. And not only because there's too many Boston players, because the players I have on the team, I feel they deserve to be there over him. For sure. The fourth line center is a bit controversial because he has been injured. He's a player for the team I hate the most in the world, Toronto Maple Leafs. But this guy is a pure talent, and you can't deny how good he is. He's definitely, when healthy, one of the top 5 centers in the league, in my opinion. Definitely one of the top 3 young centers in the league. Blake Wheeler would be my right wing. Absolutely amazing two-way player, gritty player, captain of the Winnipeg Jets. Can give you an offensive upside. Also brings good penalty-killing skills and all kinds of skills. Good mentor and leadership. Can play a shutdown role. Even though the fourth line on this team probably wouldn't be playing a shutdown role because it's a dream team. They're all going to be sick lines. But if you needed a player to be out there when a lead needs to be held, Blake Wheeler is one of those players you want on the ice for sure. Austin Matthews is my center. That's the guy I was talking about. Austin Matthews is my fourth line center. I couldn't not put him on a dream team. His shot is... I hate Toronto. I am by no means a Toronto fan. I like Boston. I like Ottawa. I like all the other teams more than I like Toronto. Toronto is the hated rival for me. A lot of my friends are Toronto fans, and I can't stand Toronto, I'll say it right now. But Austin Matthews is pure talent that you can't deny. His shot is one of, if not the best. I think his shot's the best in the league. His wrist shot is the best in the league. His release is the best in the league. I think it's better than Laine's. His point per game and goal per game, I'm pretty sure, is better than Laine's. And even better than Ovechkin. Like, Ovechkin has a great one-timer. He's known for his great wrist shot and his moves. But Austin Matthews has a wrist shot like I've never seen. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful wrist shot. And he can play a good power role. Lately, he hasn't been as aggressive. He's been getting ragged on by Leafs fans by not going in, hitting behind the boards, not being in the positions he has. But when he's really on his game, he's really good. I've seen Austin Matthews really on his game. I've seen him destroy my team a few times. He plays big against the Habs. And when he's on his game, and on a team like this with these kind of line mates, he would be savage. And the left wing would be Matthew Tkachuk for sure. He's in Calgary right now. He's a gritty player on any dream team. He'd be a dream fourth liner because he can drive teams nuts. He's an agitator. He brings a great offensive upside. He's really good offensively, and he's really good defensively. He's a Tkachuk, and he's, in my opinion, right now, the best Tkachuk that's on the go. Keith Tkachuk was great in his day. He played in a different era when there was a lot more goal scorers. Keith Tkachuk probably is the best Tkachuk, but at the end of all their careers, unless Brady really steps up, I think Matthew Tkachuk is going to be the best Tkachuk. That's just my opinion. There's probably old school Tkachuk fans that are like, you're fucking crazy. But watch his son play in Calgary. His son is a great player. I'm not a huge Calgary fan, but lately I've been watching a lot of their games because Gaudreau, he's another guy I was thinking about putting on a team, but he's right up there in points, stuff like that. But I just wasn't feeling him like I feel as Tkachuk. Tkachuk definitely deserved the fourth line slot. Tkachuk's a beast. Now, on to my defense. Some people may agree, some people may not disagree. My top line, people had to agree with this. Victor Hedman and Erik Karlsson. They're both Swedish. They're both buddies. But most of all, they're both the best defensemen in the league. Victor Hedman is great two-way, can set up lots of passes, can score goals when he needs to, got a great shot, excellent on the power play. Erik Karlsson is the best offensive defenseman in the NHL, period, bar none. When he's on his game, he can go old school Bobby Orr style, take it end to end up the ice. He sets up lots of plays. His assists and goals are almost always consistent. He was a go-to player on every team he's on, and he's a leader. So he had to be top line along with Hedman, who's the reigning Norris defending trophy winner. And Karlsson, I think, won the Norris before that, if I'm not mistaken. The year prior, Hedman won it. And Karlsson has a few Norrises in his pocket. Karlsson's a beast. My second line, a lot of people will be like, hey, you're a Habs fan. How do you have Shea Weber on your second line or your top line? Well, I love Weber, but he's a bit older, and he's not killing it like these guys are killing it in the league these days. Although that fucking shot, no one has a shot like Weber. If we were going the hardest shot in the league, Weber all day. I think he surpasses Chara right now. Chara's too old to have the power Weber got. Morgan Rielly, it's a Leaf, but he's really good. I watch the Leafs play every now and then, and Morgan Rielly, really good, two-way player. Leafs right defense always gets ragged on, but he's a true number one defenseman now because he brings it offensively and he brings it defensively, and he goes to the right place. He knows how to get under a player's skin. If a player's come up to ice on a breakaway and Rielly's on him, he's going to get the puck off his stick almost 90% of the time. And offensively, I'm pretty sure he's leading all defensemen right now. I mean, it could be him or Burns, but yeah. And that's his line mate. Brent Burns is another offensive dynamo, has been consistently a number one D-man in the league. Even with Erik Karlsson on his team, he's still the number one D-man. He's the go-to guy in San Jose. Everybody loves the beard. Everybody loves the personality. So Brent Burns, number two center all day. Any team he's on, or number two defenseman. I'm sorry, I always get centers and defensemen mixed up when I'm explaining teams. I don't know why. But number two defenseman, second pairing, number two defenseman. So that's Brent Burns. Great, great player. Sorry about that, folks. I always get my centers and D-men mixed up. I have no idea why. Mark Giordano and Shea Weber are my last defensive pairing, my third slot defensive pairing. Mark Giordano, he's having a career year this year. He isn't as well known, but he's a really good shutdown D-man. His defensive prowess is second to none, other than Drew Doughty, Brett Burns, Shea Weber, those type players, and maybe Victor Hedman, because Hedman's come a long way with his defense too. But the defensive side of the game, Giordano has it down pat. He's a great shutdown D-man. You need somebody on the ice to keep a lead. Giordano's the guy he wants. And Shea Weber, number 6 from Montreal, my team's captain. Best shot in the league. Hardest shot in the league. My favorite defenseman in the league, even before he came to Montreal, was my favorite defenseman in the league. Was part of a controversial trade, but we all know what Shea Weber is. He's been a consistent top 5 defenseman in the league his entire career. He took a bit last year because he was injured for 6 months last year, and he missed half of this year. A lot of people said he fell off, but since he came back, he hasn't missed a beat. The shot's still there. The power play isn't going because they can't get him the puck. But on this team, no way the power play wouldn't be going. Shea Weber would be leading it in power play points, in my opinion, him or Erik Karlsson. Shea Weber's a beast with that shots. And last but not least, the goalies. Number 1, I couldn't give it to Vasilevsky over Price, mainly because Price is red hot now. He's better than Vasilevsky is right now. He's the hottest in the league right now and consistently has been for 8 years. He had one bad year last year and a bad run after he came back from injury and a little bit of struggles at a rookie. But other than that, he's been consistently the top goalie, not in the league, but in the world. His international stats don't lie. His World Junior stats don't lie. His Olympic stats don't lie. His NHL stats don't lie. He has every single thing but a Stanley Cup. He has a gold medal. He has a Hart. He has a Vezina. He has a Lindsay. The list goes on. That's just off the top of my head. He has a Calder Cup. He has everything but a Stanley Cup. And number 2 is a guy I think is probably going to win a Stanley Cup this year. Should be a Vezina winner this year. Absolutely great goalie. Supreme talent. Phenomenal goalie. The next Carey Price of his generation, in my opinion, in a couple of years, he'll be the next Carey Price. Andre Vasilevsky. Great goalie. Tampa's goalie. And would be the best backup for any team in the world. You make him a backup in any other team in the world, unless Carey Price is the backup, he's the best backup in the world. So that's my dream team, folks. Those are the players I have and the positions I have them slotted in. You can agree or disagree. If you have other players you think should be on the teams in certain positions, feel free to let me know. If you have your own dream team, feel free to write it in the comments. I'm always here. Loves to get a new subscriber every now and then. Loves to talk about the Habs and talk about hockey in general. So Feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you liked the video. This is Mr. Average Hockey Fan, over and out.